I'm impressed.
Good.
Right, I'm impressed. Right.
Shakespeare.
What do you know about Thomas of Becket, Dorothy?
Not a lot.
That's because it's in there.
Yeah,
Right. Anyone else know anything about Thomas of Becket?
No.
Tell us about these four saints you were on about.
Well, there was Edmund Campion, Thomas More, Samuel Beckett, and somebody Fisher.
Who the hell's Samuel Beckett?
Edmund Fisher.
He's a writer.
Not Samuel. Samuel's a writer. Thomas.
You said.
Thomas Beckett.
Oh God, I just gotta carry on.
Don't ask questions.
Yeah,
just
I'm
get
not.
on.
Right, Thomas is called Thomas, son of Becket. Okay,
Right.
Thomas of Becket. There you go.
Thomas at Beckett.
Thomas at Becket. Thomas of London he was known as, even though he was in Canterbury, right? He was known as Saint Thomas of Canterbury.
They used to call my husband Jap because his name was Jap. So when my son started to work with him as well, they used to call him Jap, son of Jap. Sorry.
Right, okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
Now, talking seriously about Thomas A. Becket, or Thomas Becket, right? The martyrdom of Becket, now this is a key thing, going off in a bit of a tangent. The martyrdom of Becket, the death of Becket was the 29th of December in the year 1170. Now, this is really, really important because the deaths of saints or holy people in the Christian church is more important than the dates associated with an individual's birth. Right?
Yeah.
Now, this is
Yeah.
really important.
Still
Right?
true.
Now, when you look at the likes of Jesus Christ, they were celebrating the death of Jesus Christ well before they started to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. I had a little sort of day school afternoon, the Sunday before Christmas, the debauchery of Christmas. And everyone was getting so frustrated because I didn't leave the debauched images until the very end. And when I got them out, all the women were going, "This is what we've come for." The biggest problem is with that group, right, is that they all drank the wine before we'd even started. So by the time we got to the break, they were all so sozzled, none of them knew what the hell I was on about, which was great.
They forgot what they came for.
Yeah, they forgot what they came for. One of them complained and said that they were supposed to have a glass of wine, even though they had 3 or 4 empty glasses around them. But anyway, the point is, the reason why I'm mentioning that is that because the Christians saw this wonderful festivity known as Saturnalia, which is a period of great debauchery, where men would reverse roles to being females and females would reverse roles to being men, and you don't need me to go on any further how, yes, women would have we don't like. And then basically also at Saturnalia, guess what? To celebrate Saturnalia, they also had little trees, they also gave presents, they also gave cards, they also gave little pies. They also had lots of singing, lots of jollity, and they also had board games, right? This is a Roman festivity, right? And guess what we do at Christmas? Every single one of those things that I've mentioned. So in other words, the Christians thought, right, what could we do on the 25th of December? Oh, I tell you what, that's when Jesus is born, right? So I wanted to make that point because to have a saint that's martyred, the death of a saint is more important than even the birth of Jesus Christ. Yeah. May I be shot down by God by a bolt, but the death of Jesus Christ, the death of a saint, is more important. Is more venerated than anything else. He was an archbishop for 8 years. He had started off as a great friend of Henry II. So we want to put a few dates in there. Good old Becket, good old Thomas Babes, was born, some say at 1215, others say at 142, on the 21st of December in the year 1119. And he didn't mean to go into the church. He ended up being great friends with Henry II. They had a bit of a falling out, and Thomas the Becket became Archbishop of Canterbury. Henry II become king. And the way things happened associated with the death of Thomas Beckett was by complete accident. You know, as you all are some days with me, you say, oh, I wish somebody would do away with Karl. I know you all think that every week. Now, that day, that very day, not you, Dorothy, because I know you love me too much to even think about that.
You'll be a martyr then.
Yeah, I'd be a martyr there. Yeah, don't get too excited. And you could carry my bones around with you all over the place.
Oh,
They could rattle amongst your teeth. Right, anyway.
They'd fall out of my flipping teeth, you silly arse. Anyway, I don't carry my dog's rashes round. I'm not going to carry your bloody bones. Anyway, get on with it.
I am getting on with it. I'm trying.
Frustrated. I'll have to take a tablet now before I...
Do you want some diazepam?
Yeah,
No.
it was terrible.
It was. So basically what happened, the king said, rid me of this man. And there were 4 knights sat there that thought, God, we can do something for the king, right? So they went off, killed Thomas of Becket, right? And as Henry's saying, all right, you know, Thomas of Becket's an okay bloke. And somebody comes back and say, oh, the Archbishop of Canterbury's been murdered. And Henry II goes, oh, my best mate has been murdered. So he sent out a load of individuals to chase down the knights and kill them, but they all ended up in France.
Well, it's a silly
And
man.
the thing that I always get confused with is I always thought that Thomas Beckett, we do get confused with Thomas More because I thought it was to do with marriage again. I thought it was to do with Henry.
Hang on, we're going to go there. No, there is something to do with Henry VIII, but Anne, why can you stop interrupting like the proverbial diarrhea?
Was Henry II had the hot poker up his bum?
No, that was Edward II.
Oh, right, thank you. I knew it was the second or something.
He had it shafted up him in 1326.
No, I just thought he had his comeuppance. You know, because he...
I do the joke, sure. Thanks. Right, so what I want to do is a bit of a digression, right? We've got a little bit of information about Thomas Beckett so far, right? I'm going to go on to a bit of news. This year is the anniversary of Thomas de Beckett's martyrdom. And if you've read this, you will know that it was 850 years ago that he died, right? And there's a major exhibition on, to celebrate his death. And amazingly enough, if we'd have had this class on the 29th of December, right, we would be celebrating the martyrdom of Beckett himself.
Well, you haven't done your calendar right then, have you really?
My father's birthday on the 20th.
Can I just make a comment, right? On Monday, right, when I did this, on Monday to my Rhonda class, right, all 5 of them, right,
Yeah.
stood up, yeah, in one room.
2 minutes silent.
Yeah, no, what we did, that was Monday. I said yesterday was a martyrdom, and I had one of them in tears. He accused me of not doing the class the day earlier, so we could celebrate the martyrdom of Beckett.
You just
Who is that?
You just bloody teach some
Who is that?
stupid people.
The man who drives.
That was Mike. No, anyway.
Not Roger.
No, Roger. Anyway, listen to this, Dorothy. You listening?
Yes.
Right. Now, this is interesting. The Vatican City has got something vital to the study of Beckett. And guess what it is? Beckett's bloody tunic.
Oh, it's too...
Is it actually in here? Is his bloody tunic
no,
in
they
there?
don't say it.
Right, anyway, so basically the bloody tunic arrived back in this country and it's going to be put on display next year. Right? Oh, no, this year. What?
They still have them now.
I put a zip across my mouth.
There's two types of, right, Beckett, there's two types of pilgrimage badges, right? The one pilgrimage badge, which is like a normal badge, but the difference with their badges, right, they were either riveted on a leather belt, right, or they had two little legs on the flat stand, so they're riveted in there. So you know what I'm talking about, yeah? You have a metal plate, right? You have two little arms coming off it, right?
At the back.
Two little bits of wire. And then you get a leather belt, right? And you bend the two things over. You rivet it on, right, or whatever. And then you've got a badge, so you can see the side of a badge, and you've got a bit of an arm coming off it, right? That can then be attached on your waistcoat.
So
or whatever.
what were they made of then?
They were specifically made of lead. They weren't made of any special metals, because these pilgrimage badges were going all over the place, right? And you were paying good dollar for these things, right? You'd be given one of these badges back. When you go to Lord's, for example, you go to Lord's and you get given this aluminium cross, which is worth basically nothing, and you're paying a lot of money for these things. But what the other thing that they're also paying for is something known as an ampulle, which is like an amphil around your neck. And what it is, it's hang on a minute.
A bit of blood or sweat or...
It's something like that, but a hell of a lot smaller with an arm. And this is tied around your neck with a little stopper in it, a lot smaller than this.
It's
and this
like,
is known as...
Pats.
Oh! Well, yeah,
It's
like a little bottle around your neck with
Yeah.
two little arms, which look like a little...
Emperor.
Clasp.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. And that's... The ampulle is actually hung there, and there should be holy oils in it, or holy water or something. Right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they were kept in pewter or lead. So by the time you treated somebody with them, you just think, right, Dorothy, I know you're dying, right? You have a bit of this. Oh, you died. You were meant to die. Right, that helped you on your way. Good.
Because of the lead.
Some people would go, a bird, and they went, ooh, and they died.
Oh.
Shock.
Well,
Right, okay, right. Anyway, since the Portable Antiquity Scheme, which has been around since 1996, they have found they found 271 of these pilgrimage badges due to the Portable Antiquity Scheme since 1996 up until 2012. Before that, they only known about 241 badges. The problem with these badges, they're made of lead and they're made of iron and they're made of copper, things that are no value. So people have been discarding them. But because they've had somebody to take these badges to, they're finding these pilgrimage badges all over the country. And the point I want to make is as follows. You know when I say people go on a pilgrimage, how do I know people are going on a pilgrimage? You know people are going on a pilgrimage because you find these badges. Of particularly Beckett, all the way in York. So you know they went all the way to Canterbury, got one of his badges, and these things are being found. So altogether, what they've got, they've got about 40 badges associated with Beckett of all the collection of badges that they found all the way across Britain. So if you want to add, that's over 500 badges that they found across Britain, probably more like 600 now because this dates to 2012. They've got at least 40 that are dedicated to Beckett. So we know these people. We found one in Swansea, for example. One in Swansea.
Coming from St. David's.
Oh my God! Guess who else has got one? Oh Christ! I've only just I've got one. I was given it years ago. I just chucked it in a drawer. I didn't know what it was. Because I've just realised.
What drawer? You've been a lot of places lately.
No. Basically, it's in a box in my studio. I've always wondered what it was. Because I've got something like this.
Oh, I'm so
Like
glad
what?
you remembered.
Yeah, I do. It's basically like that. It's more or less like this.
Oh,
I've actually got one of these. I didn't know. I've been wondering what it is for years because I got two. I got two pilgrimage badges that was given to me as a wedding present years ago. I got one as a shape of an eagle, and I got one that is similar to this. And this is this one itself. If you look at this design, they're only about that small. So this one itself, it doesn't actually say specifically where. This is basically the bishop's mitre, right? And these are undoubtedly always made of lead or pewter or copper, sometimes gilded, covered in sort of a dip of gold. And the other ones that we actually get, the one I've got is actually very similar to that. I've always wondered what the blooming thing is, and I've had a memento mori that I know what it is now. I've got one of these.
Wow.
Well done.
I've got it in my box in my studio, so when I go down there tomorrow, I'll pick it up and I'll be able to show you. It's amazing because I didn't. And also, there's a little cross on the top as well.
Good.
Amazing, isn't it? So basically, with these lead pilgrimage badges, this one was found in Lincoln, and then we've got another wonderful one here, and that there is a representation of Beckett on another pilgrimage badge. Yeah.
So they used to make things out of lead.
Yeah, they used to make things out of lead, pewter, and copper, and also that one was actually found. That one's found in York, so people are coming from York all the way down to this Canterbury. And one last one, and look at that little figurine there. Oh, I am so excited! I got one of these. I had two. I knew I had two pilgrimage badges, but not one of Thomas or Beckett. Here we go. This is a representation of his body. Right, that's a representation of Beckett's body without the head. Okay, and actually the most popular ones, believe it or not, show Thomas à Becket in a little coffin, right? So you had Thomas à Becket in a little coffin in bones with a bit of a shroud over him, and also Thomas à Becket rotting in a coffin. You would worn one of these badges.
A lot of work had gone into a bag.
Yeah, you'd have had the mould and you'd poured the lead in there, job done. Bob's your auntie. And that one itself was actually found in London. So all these pilgrimage badges, cast lead, sometimes allied pilgrimage badges, tell us the extent of where people went to visit Thomas the Becket shrine. And also, I can tell you one last thing before you go. Before you go.
See you next week.
Bye. Bye.
Hopefully, anyway.
Actually, I can see.
Bye-bye.
Actually, look at that little list there now. I'm going to say goodbye to George.
Don't forget to...
What?
He's
What
going
you
to
do it
switch it
sat on for?
He's been recording our voices.
What my voice man?
Well, you wouldn't recognise me, would you?
Well, it's Irish, isn't it?
Of course it is.
Exactly.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
And goodbye.
Bye-bye, Ham.
So have a look at that list now. Have a look at that little list now and work out the ones where they've come
Don't
from.
forget, George,
I'll be back now.
20 to 3. 2:30 to 3. Yeah. Ta-da.
Bye.
Have a look at this list now.
We are.
I need to, hang on, using your box a minute for you to have a look.
My box.
I know it's your box, you're having a look now. I'll see you next week, guys.
A number of Beckett, where's number 40? Or London is 40.
Oh, yes, 14. Lincolnshire.
They can't add up, can they? Got total of 3.
3.
One in Wales. Only one in Wales. One in Wales.
Do you think they've done a bit wrong there? Or country, Cambridgeshire, Chester, or county, Isle of Wight, Kent, Lincolnshire, London, Norfolk, Surrey, Swansea, Wales, Warwickshire, Yorkshire.
I'll be testing you now.
On what? You remember how many was in Lincoln? Which was 8.
Yeah, Yorkshire is the furthest north.
Oh, I don't know about the bloody geography, I just saying.
Lincolnshire.
I'll do total of 3. Kent was 2. Isle of Wight 1. How do they know what they are?
They look like the picture.
Oh, Cheshire's quite north.
We might have some down the Sandhurst, that house in Merthyr they used to do
Right, folks.
there together.
As you can see from this wonderful list, so people from Cambridgeshire, very close to Kent, right? But people from Cheshire, one found in Cheshire, even one found on the Isle of Wight. So they have to make the water journey all the way over to the mainland and to sort of visit the shrine. Obviously, only 2 found in Kent. That's where the Canterbury Shrine is. But Lincolnshire, which is a little bit further up north, 8 of these found there, 14 in London, even a couple found in Norfolk. 1 found in Swansea, for example, 3 in York, 1 in Wiltshire. So the thing is, it goes to show of the extent to where people would go to actually visit the shrine of Beckett. And these are only some that have been found. Because up until, this is a thing, up until 1996, they'd only found, 241, right? Since 1996, they've found an additional 271 pilgrimage badges for various different pilgrimages around Britain. The interesting thing is, the interesting thing is, lots of these must have been discarded by people finding them because they didn't know what they were, just like me. Carry on.
Also, +1 that's in your drawer.
+1, which is in my drawer. Actually, +2 because yeah, exactly.
Just in a drawing Barry.
In a drawer in Barry.
But where did you get yours?
I was given them as a wedding present.
Where?
Who?
Off Dirty Bob from North Wales.
Oh, North Wales.
Bob Barndale from
But he
Cheshire.
didn't really tell you where they're from,
No,
did
he
he?
didn't.
Oh.
You probably picked it up from Cheshire or London.
Exactly, they're all nicked. So, are there any questions, folks?
Yeah, could I have a tea for that, please?
How many
before you
times
put
was
it out
Canterbury
onto the web?
Cathedral built?
What?
Rebuilt. How many times was Canterbury Cathedral rebuilt?
Canterbury. It would have been rebuilt by it would have been an original site there, then it had been rebuilt by the Anglo-Saxons, then it had been rebuilt by the Normans,
Possibly again.
possibly again.
And possibly again.
No, yeah. Are there any questions, folks?
No.
No.
Very well, thank
You
you.
enjoyed that today?
Yeah, very good.
It's definitely been entertaining. Anne's been on top form today, which is great. Right, we do appreciate you, Anne. Right.
Yeah, you can have that.
Right, thank you very much. If there's no more questions, we'll see you next week. Next week we're doing, hang on, 1 second, next week, if there's no more questions, we're doing Joan of Arc and, go. Oh, throw the cat!
Try to make it sound as if it's
Oh, God. Oh,